Hey everybody, Dr. Ray Blue here, and this is my movie review of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, directed by Tim Burton and starring Eva Green, Asa Butterfield, Terrence Stamp, Judi Dench, and Samuel L. Jackson. The story is about Jake, played by Asa Butterfield, also known as Hugo, who has grown up hearing his grandfather's magical stories of Miss Peregrine and her home of peculiar children with special powers. After his grandfather's death, Jake finds his way to the island in Wales where the Peculiars lived, and discovers all exists there still, stuck in a time loop where they relive a single day, September 3rd, 1943, the day the school was bombed by Germans. Jake enters into the fantastic alternate reality and time of Peregrine's world and is forced into a dangerous adventure of protecting his new friends and loved ones from monsters called Hollows and the dangerous Whites led by Mr. Barron, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who tends to be as comical at times as he is terrifying. Stuck in a time loop, Peregrine, played by Eva Green, and her youths relive the same day over and over, much like Mad Hatter perpetually stuck at tea time or Bill Murray in Groundhog's Day. Within this loop, none of the characters age and thus are forever young, like the kids in Neverland, all living in a home that resembles X-Men's School for Mutants, only run by Mary Poppins rather than Professor Xavier, and all with the magical and gothic tone felt in the Harry Potter universe, all adding up to a fairly entertaining equation and one made for Tim Burton's style. Tim Burton is a mixed bag for me. I love his early work like Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, and Batman, but I lost my faith in his work almost completely after Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and his version of Alice in Wonderland was not really my cup of tea. I found both those films disappointing, especially since I adore the books from which they are sourced. However, I have not read Ransom Riggs' novel Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, so this review of the film is really coming from someone who only knows a story through the medium of film. That being said, the film does have a wonderful Tim Burton trademark of mixing darkness and weirdness overall, and it's that mixture of odd and sweet that works really well. I was happily surprised to find Burton back to his old self again, and eager to see what he has in store for us in future projects. Published in 2011, Riggs' book, as well as this film, owe much to the popularity of Harry Potter and seem honestly influenced by such works, as well as having a slight X-Men theme nicely woven in as well. Perhaps not a surprise that the film's screenwriter, Jane Goldman, was also a writer on X-Men First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past. It definitely has a School of Mutants feel, and all with that wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff included. Filled with invisible monsters and thinly developed supporting characters, the cast do well in their often limited performances, including Samuel L. Jackson's over-monologuing and Miss Peregrine's time-obsessed monotone presence. Asa Butterfield doesn't come across very excited or amazed by this fantastic world either, and like Peregrine is a pretty bland performance. Samuel L. Jackson gives us our characteristic performance as a shape-shifting, pointy-toothed villain, although upon his arrival in the film it definitely changes tone, going from an exploration of this magical realm to a more Tim Burton horror film. The invisible monsters, called Hollows, clearly are not devoted to either side, and reminded me a little bit of the liquor creatures from Resident Evil, or only with longer legs and arms like the guys you see on stilts at a carnival. The pacing is a bit up and down, with not much happening really prior to the final conflict, though with a few cool scenes sprinkled throughout, like Emma and Jake visiting a sunken ship where she controls air and fills the room up with air so they can breathe. I also like when Jake is introduced to Finlay McMillan as Enoch O'Connor, a teenager who can resurrect the dead and animate inanimate objects. We were shown him creating toys similar to those made by Sid in Toy Story and animating them to battle. He then recalls using his creepy powers to animate corpses from his parents' funeral parlor where they would have epic battles. That's normal. I really thought the super strong little girl was cute and fun, and I also liked the little white scarecrow looking twins, whose powers are really unknown until the final battle, and they are indeed more alarming than their ghostly appearance even suggests. While the children's peculiarities seem like quite mediocre powers in a way, like a girl with a mouth on the back of her head, they are all able to shine through when final conflict arises. All in all, it is yet another young adult film centered on a special child or chosen one who is the key to solving another world's problems, as we've seen in a dozen other films now. Burton definitely brings his own twist to the film, which is visually amazing and everything one would hope from a Tim Burton film, having a wonderfully gothic and magical feel about it. It is a film worth seeing and likely will be enjoyed by the whole family. The film will make a fine addition to any family's home movie collection worth its salt. Thank you for watching. Please comment below with your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends, and help spread the madness.